It's a beautiful Monday morning here in Lagos. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. It's less than 50 days to the 2023 general election, and INEC just last week moved the distribution of the permanent voter cards to the registration areas, urging validly registered voters to take advantage of this awards opportunity, particularly for those who are yet to get their voter cards. We understand that the collection will revert. The collection exercise will revert to the local government offices of the commission by the 15th of this month. And quite a number of Nigerians have trooped out to have their PVCs collected. The big question would be, how has the process been? Has it been simple and hitch-free? How long does it take to get the cards? How true are the extortion stories that we're hearing about from certain people called agents at the INEC offices? And we'd like to hear from you as well. You can tag me on Twitter using @Nifemi Oguntoye and the hashtag ThisMorningTVC. You can also call in the second half of the show. Let's know what your experience has been. Reports are, however, showing a mixed bag of issues. While collection has been seamless in some places, it's been an Herculean task, particularly in wards with high turnout of residents. So this morning we're discussing the PVC collection hiccups and INEC's preparation ahead the big one in February. I'm joined by Wale Ogunade, constitutional lawyer and national president of Voters Awareness Initiative. Good morning, Mr. Ogunade. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Dr. Festus Okoye is INEC's national commissioner and also the chairman of the Commission's Information and Voter Education Committee. He's joined us virtually on the program this morning. Dr. Okoye, good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, let's begin in the studio. We've gone 29 days, barrister, into the distribution of PVCs to registered voters. There are about some 13 more days to go, given the INEC deadline. What's your assessment of the process thus far?
So far, it's a mixed bag. In some places, smooth. In some cases, names misspelled. In some cases, sex turned over. In some cases, their cards are not there. In some cases, confusion, rowdiness, and so on and so forth. And in some places that I've been able to, and some members of my team, we've been able to organize them, particularly letting those who are involved, the INEC staff, to know that, look, just organize these people. Sometimes we'll tell them, give them a tag. The tag will be there. That's a tally number, as it were. We'll write it down. As soon as anybody comes, you give him a tally number, and they sit according to that one. Or once they come, every 10 people, we create a space somewhere different from the crowd, so that those people who will be the next in queue sit down when it's their turn. When the 10 is vacated or dispensed with, another set of 10 come in, and so on. Of course, in some cases too, we help provide some refreshments to some people as we are empowered to. And that's the thing so far. And of course, our people in the south, southeast, that's our representatives in other parts of the country too, have the same story to tell. So it's not as if it's smooth all through. And of course, it's a mixed bag.
But what are your thoughts about the turnout, particularly when you look at it relative to previous elections?
Massive, particularly the youths. This time around, yes, very much, particularly the youths. I guess there are activities that we have been involved with, the media, the programs, various programs we've been having, I guess has really encouraged the youths. Not only did they go to collect, to register, but they are now struggling, which I appreciate. They are struggling to collect their PVC. And I put it with all authorities, struggling, unlike before. If there is a crowd there, they will say, I don't get time, Jerry, I dey go. But this time around, you see them struggling. They struggle, they are not deterred. They want to collect their PVC. I hope it will not end there. I hope they will now take it to the polling unit on election day. That is the cocoa of the whole thing.
Indeed. Dr. Okoye, I know you're getting reports from resident electoral commissioners on a daily and weekly basis. What's your assessment of the process thus far? Do we know, do we have an update as to the percentage of cards that have been collected right now?
We can't have a percentage as to the number of cards that have been collected right now because there are 3 sets of cards that are being issued to individuals. The first set of cards relates to the cards of those who registered prior to the 2019 general election and who have not collected their cards. So these are the backlog of cars that we have in our store. And these cars have also been made available for collection. The second relates to those who carried out transfer and those whose cars were lost, defaced, or had one challenge or the other. And then the third relates to the case of those who registered between the 28th day of June 2021 and those who and 31st day of July 2022. These are the three sets of cars that are being collected. Our resident electoral commissioners are giving, some of them are giving daily update of collection from all the local governments. Some of them are giving update every 2 days, and some of them are giving weekly updates. I was in Anambra State, in Oka precisely, between the 6th and 7th of January, and I did supervise collection in Aguleri, Umweri, in Oka South, Dunukofia, Oyi local government, and so on. And the turnout has been really, really impressive. And rather than close at 3 p.m. every day, our staff close at 5 p.m. every day. And so the staff are also giving out their best. Yes, there are challenges in a few of the registration areas, but in all those areas where we notice that there are challenges, we have sent intervention mechanisms. As you know, these cars are being given out and made available for collection in 8,809 registration areas or wards. And the resident electoral commissioners have also been asked and given the mandate to use their own initiative to be very creative in terms of making these cars available. In some places, the various communities are providing security. They are also providing some level of assistance to our officers who are giving out these cars. And so what we counsel is patience and understanding. And we assure Nigerians that every validly registered person who wants to collect his or her cars, we have an opportunity of doing so.
So, Dr. Okoye, you talked about three categories of PVCs, some who have registered before 2019, some who are coming for replacement, and then the newly registered voters. I'm looking at the timeline, December 12 and January 22. Did this distribution of voter cards, is it also capturing those who have registered before 2019? Are you saying that there was no opportunity to have those collected prior to this time?
No, as you're aware, we gave every registered person an opportunity of collecting his or her cars, but some persons did not collect their cars up to this particular period. Even those who registered and couldn't collect their cars in the areas where we conducted off-season governorship election and by-elections, we also made the cars available, but so many of them did not collect. So we are going to the registration areas once again with this cluster of cars and also urging people to come forward and collect these cars. Not only that, the commission has made available the list of all the registration areas or electoral wards in the country, and we've distributed to civil society groups and organizations, we've given to our electoral officers, we've given to president of the various town unions, we've given to the critical stakeholders. Not only that, we have also made available phone lines through which people can call and know where their registration area is, so that they can just walk into the place and collect their cars.
All right. We'll talk about some of the reported challenges in a short while, but let's take a short break, Dr. Okoye.
Let me make this very clear.
Yes. Indeed. Let's take a short break and we'll be back with more. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. There are quite a number of reported challenges faced by registered voters who have turned out to collect their PVCs. One of it will be the large crowds at the collection centers. There are reported clumsy process and processes that are not quite organized. There are also allegations of extortion, the fact that some agents are collecting as much as 3,000 naira from voters, from registered voters, to help them exchange their slips with their PVC. There's also reported cases of inadequate number of INEC officials to cater to those who have come around. But we have a package on that story. We'll take that and we'll return with the discussion.
It is day 2 for the permanent voter card distribution from the local government to ward levels by the Independent National Electoral Commission. INEC has set aside 6th to 15th of January as date to bring PVC closer to the grassroots. In the Enugu South local government area, some residents were cited at their word, expecting INEC officials. They looked depressed and frustrated, alleging it was a deliberate action.
It means that they don't want people to get their voters' cards. They might do one thing or the other to the voters' cards so that people cannot make use of it.
Myself, I've gone to the court, where they call the court, for how many times? Spending money. And they say they are spending the PVCs for ward levels. Here I am now, but nobody's here.
Opera Square is where the Independence Layout Ward 11 holds, although INEC staff were reported to come late for the distribution, but the exercise went seamless.
Many people have collected their card. They came around, they came late, around 10 o'clock. So I'm sure that up to 200 people have so far collected their card, and more people are coming, and the exercise is seamless.
The people want the commission to engage ad hoc officials to assist in the distribution of voter card exercise.
We have enough staff. I think they should involve the youth corpers for them to assist them, because they really need more hands on this.
So government should step up and send delegates. At least people that will begin to go from ward to ward and make sure that this thing is distributed.
The 10 days exercise seems to have gotten more persons awake, wanting to collect their PVCs. They only need the push from the electoral umpire to dispatch more men and resources to ensure the allotted time are judicially expended. INEC commenced the PVC distribution on the 12th of December, expected to end on 22nd of January, being the 33 days to the general election. With less than 7 weeks to the election, INEC has reaffirmed its stand that no eligible voter will participate in the poll without PVC, hence the massive voter registration and collection, mostly by the youth. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
So, Mr. Gode, like you said before, it's been a mixed bag of issues raised in the ongoing collection exercise. But have you heard anyone talk to you about extortion? Some of the reports are flying online.
I heard it too. Maybe because they know me. Maybe so. The 3 places I went, whenever I'm around, maybe while parking, before I get to the point, I'll just find out that there's calmness. No, but at least if they extorted, I'm sure those dudes that were extorted will report. But there wasn't such situation where I went. What I saw and what I observed was this crowding, and of course sometimes these names being mixed up and spelled and so on. And I did assure them that is it your finger? Because most of the time it's going to be the biometrics that will be used, and they shouldn't worry. The idea is that the PVC now is just going to be your means of identification that indeed you registered here, and of course you're going to vote. So they shouldn't worry about that. That was I used in calming down the nerves of those whose name were misspelled or whose sex was switched over. That's maybe 1 or 2 about their home addresses and so on. I said, well, do you have a national identity card? He said, yes, and then that one will suffice for this one. But generally about the extortion, it's not to my knowledge.
But what has been that experience? Because most of the issues we're having with people who have gone to INEC offices have been the fact that there is no arrangement to cater to those who are staying outside. So many people may have to stay for longer time under the sun. Is that a stakeholder? Should we be expecting some more stakeholder involvement to help INEC out in this situation?
Yes, I hope INEC will now look at it. And I'm happy Festus is on the program, and of course is listening to us, that they should make arrangement for such things. And that's where people like us come in, that are on the grassroots, that have our representatives all over. This thing is not strictly official. And I challenge him, when they even want to do their voter awareness thing, maybe they will just do one day, maybe in one major street. That's the officers, of course, they've given them the support to do it. Just start something. Whereas groups, the civil societies that are involved in this thing will storm the streets, they will go around the town to ensure that this is done. Then, of course, to your answer to your question, obviously, if you remember, when the first time that we were having this, when this issue of voters card, PVC, came in for us to register, and when the machine was not that done, was not good, that it was rejecting fingers and so on, many of us were involved in ensuring that there was a tent set up, a better pass my neighbor generator are brought in to power those machines that were breaking down. And of course, most of us will buy methylated spirit to ensure that with the cotton wool to clean up the hands. I'm sure you experienced it the way you are nodding your head. So all those things are things. Nigeria belongs to all of us. You can't allow the Nigerian to feel there are some naysayers. We are not naysayers. We are patriotic Nigerians who want it well with Nigeria. It does not matter. Maybe one want to be engaged. They don't recognize us, but we will continue to do our bit because we know Nigeria belongs to us.
Indeed it does. Dr. Okoye, how many of these reported challenges have you been able to validate? Large crowds, clumsy system, extortion, allegations of extortion, and then the fact that there are inadequate number of INEC officials to attend to people?
Well, I have also gone around, and the national commissioners supervising a cluster of states have also been directed to pay close attention to what is going on in their states, in their various states. Now, it is true that in some registration areas, we recorded large crowds. There are also some registration areas where we don't have individuals. And so what we have done is to direct resident electoral commissioners to profile some of these registration areas, and in the places where we have large crowds, to engage in some intervention mechanism that will ameliorate the situation. But as I pointed out, our staff have been working assiduously to make sure that people collect their voters' cards. Now, on the issue of extortion, I don't think that any of our staff has the time to engage in the extortion people are talking about. There's a possibility that there are some individuals who are touts who may just cluster around some of the registration areas and extort people. If people want to be extorted, they will be extorted. If people want to offer money for services, definitely they will offer money for services. But I don't think that it should be blamed on our officials. Our officials have been doing their work in the manner that we directed them. I want to plead that people who go to collect their cards should on no account whatsoever try to corrupt our staff, or try to induce our staff, or try to get our staff to do what is unethical and what is not professional and what is not provided for in the Electoral Act. But I agree with my colleague in the studio that we should also have some stakeholder engagement. The registration areas or the electoral wards where these cards are being made available does not belong to the Independent National Electoral Commission. So in some places, communities have made available their community halls, made available chairs, made available even personnel to organize the crowd and do some other things. So I think that the various stakeholder groups in the various communities should also assist the commission in making sure that the process and the exercise is seamless. But let me also emphasize.
Yes.
Just a minute. Let me also emphasize that that if you are in Lagos and you are in Lagos State and you carry that transfer, you say you no longer want to vote in Lagos State, that you want to vote in Ogun State and you want to vote in Abeokuta South local government, we are going to take your card to Abeokuta South local government because your registration in Lagos has been cancelled. So you don't have to go back to the place where you carried out the transfer in Lagos to go and look for your card. That is one. Secondly, those who engage in double or multiple registration, we didn't print their cards. I also realized as I was going around that there are some persons who lost their cards. Rather than report that they have lost their cards so that we can print a replacement for them, they went and registered afresh. For this group of people, we didn't print their cards because their data is already on our database, and we regarded their second registration as double or multiple registration. And so these are some of the challenges we are facing, and we are making efforts to make sure that our officers educate people who come along in relation to some of these issues.
So I understand your appeal, Dr. Okoye, that people should not give anyone money for their PVCs, but I hope that you also agree that if certain agents, as they call them, are collecting money to exchange voter slip with voter cards, they couldn't have done that without collaboration with INEC officials. And we're hoping that INEC will also look into that to create structures that will make it impossible for these agents to work. If there are no INEC officials aiding them, there won't be anybody to give money to. But an INEC official was also quoted to have said that one of the challenges they had was that people were turning out at the registration, at the wards without their registration slips. Perhaps you will help us, walk us through the process and what is expected of a registered voter when they come in for their PVCs.
We've made it clear that no individual can collect PVC by proxy. If you are a man and you registered, you must collect your card yourself. You can't come and collect your card and also collect that of your wife or that of your children. So you must come in person to collect your card. Not only that, when you approach any of our officers, you must provide the slip which was given to you at the point of registration. If you are unable to provide the slip, you must provide a very good identification, either a driver's license or a national identity card or an international passport, for us to be sure that the person who has turned up to come and collect his or her PVC is the person who really registered. And so we're not going to give out any PVC by proxy. And that's part of the challenge. So if people had the courage to come and register, they ought to have kept their slip in a very good condition, in a very good place, so that they can lay their hands when it is time for them to collect their PVCs.